Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I am Dr. Ngua Lai and today I want to talk about something very important that affects not only your research but also the way you think and learn, which is confirmation bias. As a lecturer and supervisor, I spend a lot of time guiding students through their final year project. One thing I notice very often is that students tend to look for information that only support what they already believe or what they want to prove. So that is very normal. It's part of how our human brain works. But if we don't notice it, it can limit the quality of our research. So in this video, I want to explain what is confirmation bias, why do we do it, how does it show up when you are doing your literature review, and most importantly, what can you do to avoid it so that your research becomes stronger and more honest. So let's begin. What is confirmation bias? In simple words, confirmation bias is when we look for, remember, and trust information that supports what we already believe, and we ignore or reject the information that goes against our beliefs. For example, if you believe a certain food which is unhealthy, so you are more likely to notice the articles that say it is bad for you, and you might skip over research that says it can have health benefits. It's not because you are doing it on purpose. Our brain naturally does this because it wants to protect our existing beliefs. So it feels more comfortable when our ideas are confirmed and supported. But in research, this can be dangerous because the goal of research is not to prove what you already think. The goal is to find out the truth, even if it is different from what you expected. So how does confirmation bias appear in a final year project? So one of the most common places is the literature review. And when students write their literature review, they often start with their research objectives in mind. For example, if your objective is to design a new antenna for better signal reception, so you might naturally look for the papers that only show design that work well, or results that prove this kind of antenna is the best. So students sometimes forgot to read studies that show the limitations, the challenges, or even contradictory results that might say this approach doesn't work well in some situation. So this makes the literature review look unbalanced, and it makes the research weaker because you are only telling half the story. So why do students fall into this trap? First, because we feel pressure to get good result. Second, because we believe that our supervisor expect us to prove our objectives. That because it is simply more comfortable to find support than to find contradictions. But as a supervisor, I want to remind you, your real job as a researcher is not to prove that your idea is perfect. Your job is to understand the full picture. Sometimes you might find out that your original ideas needs to change, and that is a sign of good research. So let me give you a few quick examples. A student is testing a new signal processing technique. They only select test cases that show good performance, but they ignore test cases where the method fails. Or a student designing a sensor for medical applications, so finds many papers about successful prototypes but skips over the study that explain why similar sensors fail in human trials. Or a student writing about environmental solutions not only picks the study that say their solution is cost effective but ignores the report that show hidden costs of the risk. So when you do this, your project might look good at first, But during your presentation or Bible, examiner can easily ask, did you consider the weakness? If you haven't, it can lower the credibility of your work. So how can you reduce confirmation bias in your research? So here are some practical tips. First one is be aware of it. So knowing that your brain wants to confirm your ideas helps you stay alert. Second is actively search for opposing view. When you find a paper that supports your ideas, ask yourself, is there any evidence that challenges this? Then look for it. Discuss with others. Talk to your supervisor or friends about possible weakness in your topic. They may help you see blind spots. The fourth one is keep your objectives flexible. If your result shows sometimes unexpected, don't hide it. Embrace it. Because new surprises results are often what make your research valuable. The fifth one is be honest in your writing. When you write your literature review, include limitations, contradictory findings, or the gaps. So this shows that you understand your field deeply. So to sum up, confirmation bias is natural, but as a good researcher, your goal is to be more curious than comfortable. When you train yourself to look for both sides, the support and the challenges, your research becomes stronger, more credible, and more meaningful. So I hope this short video gives you something to think about as you write your final year project. So remember, your supervisor is here to help you to do honest and quality research, not just to see you prove something. So if you found this video helpful, please like, share, and subscribe for more content about research scale, academic life, and personal growth. And if you have any questions about confirmation bias or research in general, drop them in the comments. I would love to hear from you. Thank you for watching and